Never try anything you see on the show at home.
Well, there's your problem.
In this special series of MythBusters,
Almost too exciting.
the Dream Team tackles their dream themes.
It's scientific!
Testing myths about everything from electricity to pressure and gravity.
This one hurt a bit.
Shaking down the science of shockwaves, velocity, and impact. With crazy chemistry,
Oh my goodness.
far-out physics,
One for the whole family.
and insane explosions.
Is everybody okay?
Life's burning questions answered. On MythBusters, there's your problem. In this high-energy episode, the MythBusters first put the pedal to the metal to uncover the secrets of velocity.
Oh, look at that.
With fast cars, furious motorcycles, and fickle fireworks.
Well, there you go.
Then they take a far-fetched foray into the physics of propulsion. On foot, under sail, and in the pool. First up, a deep dive into the toy box.
The myth is that a toy car can go faster than a real car.
That's coasting, right?
Yeah, under just the acceleration of gravity, a toy car going down a quarter-mile track against a race car, the toy car's gonna win.
Before they race, they'll need to check how fast the toy car can go before its wheels fail. They'll enlist a real car to test the wheels of the toy car. The car is jammed against a wall, and the rear is jacked up.
Yeah, and with the angle that we've got the forks at, it's not going to slip forward. It's going to slip back, if anything.
Taping up the wheels to create a smooth test track, they position the toy car.
Now we're just having a car held in place, no pressure on top, but it's just resting on the tire.
Okay, Scotty, start her up.
With a wooden shoe holding the toy car in place, Scotty steps on the gas.
45, 50,
Wow, look at that.
65, 70, 85.
It's out of its shoe.
That was pretty cool. It held in there.
Yeah.
I can't see any wear on them. They look fine.
It's all systems go. And blow. Because next they want to check another potential velocity inhibitor. Wind resistance. With a leaf blower as a makeshift wind tunnel,
Ready to plug in?
Ready to plug in.
they check how fast the lightweight cars can go before the wind throws them off the track.
This is really finicky.
That's it. Right there. 73. 76.2. 70. We're balancing at 74.9.
The wind tunnel experiment backs up the wheel test results, suggesting toy cars can achieve speeds of over 70 miles an hour.
Well, they do seem like they go pretty fast, but I think we can do better.
On the search for even more speed, Jamie creates a more streamlined, heavier aluminum racer. Then they head for Lake Tahoe, where Ski Boulevard is straight enough, long enough, and steep enough for their race-off against a real car.
I think they'll get going pretty fast. We'll be most of the way by the time we get to the bottom of this hill.
Yeah, I think the quarter mile is right about where the stop sign is.
Go for it.
Now for the hard yards. Laying out a perfectly straight raceway that goes for 400 meters.
It's a lot of work laying out a quarter mile of track.
I'm just gonna be out there straightening.
Please note the Heineman doing his careful straightening work. Jamie's people have been track straighteners since the Middle Ages.
Any kink or bump could lead to our toy car being set off the rails.
I'll tell you what, I've had enough of this already today. Tell them to go.
Scotty, are you ready to do a test run?
Just go.
Okay, here it comes. 3, 2, 1.
Before the real car arrives, They need to check this track works.
The anticipation is killing me.
Is it coming still?
It stopped.
Start at 200 feet. Over. Let's go straight into another round. Over.
But no matter how much straightening or flattening they do, they can't get a clean run.
Just ridiculous to keep trying, spend half an hour to undo these buckles when they just keep appearing. So right now, we're going to go up to the 400-foot mark, and I'm going to time it with a stopwatch at 400 feet.
We have a white car ready when you are.
We're ready down here. Give us a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
First on the scaled-down track is a Camaro, which streaks down the 120-meter course like a bolt of white lightning.
Oh, look at that.
Well, it was riding on top of the middle meridian, and it still made it in 23 seconds.
That's 22 miles per hour. Not bad for a toy. Now for Jamie's homemade speedster.
I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Jamie's betting his silver bullet, by reducing drag and increasing mass, will result in a higher velocity.
That was a very handy 18 seconds. Over.
Damn, you took 4 seconds off the top record.
Now for the real test. Against a real car, a Dodge Viper. Under power, it's capable of speeds of 200 miles per hour. But how about coasting downhill under gravity? Will its weight hold it back from beating a featherweight toy car?
I really think the toy car is gonna beat the Viper.
I would put my money on the toy car.
I think the toy car is just gonna smoke the Viper.
So this is it, Scotty. The Viper against the toy car, the Johnny Lightning, under gravity only. You ready?
We're ready to go on our end. On your count.
3, 2, 1.
Johnny Lightning's off to a flyer. At 25 feet, he's smoking it. At 50, he's hanging on.
It's neck and neck.
But the Viper bites back
We're hitting 30.
and takes the checkered flag. 4 seconds in front of its rival. The Viper's weight made it slow to overcome inertia, but once it did, it was unbeatable.
Viper wins.
The Dodge Viper won handily.
It was neck and neck right in the beginning there for the first 100 feet almost.
So it's Jamie's turn to race his silver bullet. It was 4 seconds faster than the white Camaro. Could it beat the Viper?
We're ready to go on our end. On your count.
3, 2, 1.
We're hitting 20.
Jamie's ahead at 25 feet. And at 50.
I see Jamie's car coming.
At 100, he's still edging out the Viper.
Ooh, it's close. 13 seconds. Damn, that was good. The Viper crossed the mark at 13 seconds. Jamie's car had its fastest time, crossing the mark at 17 seconds. Still not enough to beat the Viper. I think this one's busted.
Actually, it beat the Viper over 100 feet. Over.
I beat the Viper over 100 feet. And who's going to have more than 100 feet of track anyway?
Yes, but the myth was over a quarter mile. And though Jamie's silver bullet hit a blistering 28 miles per hour, there's only one way to call this myth.
While the toy cars were able to beat the sports car up to about 20 to 30 feet, and Jamie's car beat it up to about 100 feet, over 400 feet, the sports car won hands down, and over a quarter mile, it wouldn't be any contest at all. I mean, it's totally busted.
Next, can velocity make a motorcycle perform a miracle?
Apparently, we got a motorcyclist. He's riding down the freeway way too fast. He comes to a bend, and when he comes to the bend, he can't make it, so he plows right through it, and there is a lake, except that he stays on top of the lake and makes it safely to the other side.
Sounds dangerous and fun. I'm in.
Excellent.
So according to the myth, if you ride a motorcycle fast enough, it will skim across the surface. But on the flip side, this could be a physics folly that leads to a deadly sinking feeling. So instead of going straight to the motorcycle, let's firstly do something a little safer.
I claim this scientific rig in the name of MythBusters.
They've attached a motorbike wheel to a speedboat,
Perfect.
and they're going to see how it behaves on the water surface.
Get this party started.
All right.
See, the weight of a motorcycle means that in water, it will sink. But the theory is that when the wheel is spinning at high velocity, it could produce the same effect as a skipping stone. So with the wheel attached, they'll accelerate the boat to see if the wheel spins up onto the surface.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Almost immediately, it's clear there's a problem. The tail end is so heavy that the boat's not only taking on water,
You're spilling water over the side there.
its own velocity has plummeted.
Come on! Our problem is there's so much drag, the boat's not able to get up on a plane where it sits on top of the water. That's where the real speed happens. Jamie's gonna crawl up to the bow. I'm gonna rig the wheel up and we'll see if it works.
It's the moment of truth.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on!
As the boat clocks 50, then 60 miles per hour, it's plain that with the right amount of speed, a motorcycle wheel can ride the water surface.
The good news is that even though it took everything we had, we were able to get the boat up on a plane and the wheel skipping across the water, which means that there is something to this, and it means we can proceed with some confidence to full scale that this might just work.
Some confidence, eh? Well, I don't know about you, but I ain't lining up to ride a motorcycle across a lake based off that test alone. But I don't have to, because that's this guy's job.
Meet Eric McCrummett. What do you think, Eric? Are you up for it?
Sure.
I am currently standing in the path our motorcyclist is going to take across the water, and it is 38 inches deep in the middle. If that motorcycle makes it across, it rode on the water. That's official. Well, he's all set. He's 375 feet away. You want to wave him in?
Let's launch the beast.
It's now or never.
Okay.
Here he comes. Whoa! Ah, that worked!
He totally stayed on top of the water.
That was beautiful. He, like, parted it like a little Red Sea.
He even made a rainbow.
That was amazing.
Using only a motorcycle and the laws of physics, Eric sailed across 50 feet of water at 60 miles per hour. With the myth proven, let's hope they quit before someone gets hurt.
You feel like you could go a little longer?
I think so.
Oh man, they always have to take it up a notch, don't they?
So now we're gonna cross 100 feet.
Are we sure this is safe? But it's too late. Eric cranks the bike up to 60 miles per hour and...
Wow! Yeah!
He was on top of the water.
He was actually, I saw him do this on top of the water. That was beautiful.
The myth is now double confirmed. Which means, guys, we definitely need to call it quits.
I want to try it.
Okay.
Wait, it was one thing when the professional did it. Now we're going to let the host try?
It's a nice flat run.
There's no deterring him. And worse still, he wants to attempt to cross the entire lake. For safety's sake, they're doing some modifications. The bike needs a flotation device, so it doesn't drag him to the bottom if he fails.
I believe I've got enough flotation here to make it float.
And finally, a lifeguard team is on standby.
By the time Jamie reaches this point, he should be going between 55 and 75 miles per hour when he enters the water. Could he just skip all the way across the water to the opposite side of the lake about 3/4 of a mile away? Or could he plant himself right here and just start flying and become his own cautionary Discovery Channel documentary about what not to do?
I fear the latter. This is one of the most dangerous experiments ever.
Here he comes.
At breakneck speed, Jamie hits the water, and then Well, you can't say I didn't warn you.
Let's go over to him.
Adam and the medic team rush in.
He's good.
But it'll take more than a 70-mile-an-hour high dive to hurt the Heineman.
You all right, sir?
I'm just fine. Definitely no broken bones or anything, so.
Good.
The good news is that Jamie's okay. And he knows exactly what went wrong.
This is one of those cases where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We added this foam just so that we could retrieve the bike without drowning it afterwards, but it turned out that the spray coming up off of the wheel was providing a certain amount of lift back here, which in turn made more stress on the front wheel, which made it plunge and made me do a somersault.
The other good news is that fall knocked some sense into him. Only a maniac would try that again.
So I'm going to go back to the original type of bike. We have a second one and have another try.
You have to be kidding. Jamie's getting straight back on the horsepower. And what's more, this time he's upping the speed to 80. But will that allow him to burn Aqua all the way across, or only create an even more epic fail?
Oh! He's good! Beautiful! That was amazing. That seemed to go on forever. Just riding. That's like easily 300 feet or more, buddy. That was amazing.
Piece of cake!
How you feeling?
Relieved it's over and I'm alive.
Phew, that makes two of us. Jamie surfed for over 300 feet. And while he wasn't able to get enough grip to carry on across, it's still myth well and truly confirmed. Next, velocity is going to take the MythBusters to the stars. Maybe.
The story goes that a 15th century Chinese astrologer decided to see if he could launch himself into space. So he strapped 47 rockets around the base of his throne and had 47 people light 47 fuses all at once. And when they did, apparently, he went up in a puff of smoke. They claimed that he got into space. We're here to see if he did.
According to legend, Ming Dynasty astrologer Wan Hu used newly invented gunpowder rockets in an attempt to become the world's first astronaut in around 1500 AD. If he did it, it meant the fireworks they used blasted him up at almost 18,000 miles per hour, meaning they'll need some serious firepower and some serious space. The wide-open Mojave Desert will do nicely.
Hot.
With the help of some friends of amateur rocketry, Mission Control has established a safe distance from the launch pad. To make sure the day goes off with a bang, the rocket experts have come equipped with a recipe for super strength gunpowder.
You making pudding?
This is just like a cooking show.
Yeah.
To make 47 period rockets, sift a large helping of gunpowder and gently fold in a spoonful of tar.
And you'll find that if you add the sauce to the powder, you'll get a very explosive mix. Yes, it's wonderful.
47 rockets are packed, primed, and strapped to chair number 1.
Well, we're going to have close to 50 pounds of gunpowder sitting right here, and I guess we should be careful with it. So far, I have yet to see the gunpowder ignite itself, but I guarantee you if I saw any kind of smoldering or anything, I'm leaving very quickly.
They're also preparing a second chair with a more modern method of propulsion.
Just in case the Chinese had built some super efficient rockets back then, we have 47 what are called I motors, which are very powerful, 50-pound thrust, 12-inch long rockets. And we're going to attach 47 of those to the second chair to see what kind of launch he could have gotten if everything was as good as it could be.
And who's drawn the short straw for playing the part of Wan Hu? The hapless Buster. That's who.
Oh, he's a picture. He looks great. Oh! I think Buster, a.k.a. Wan Hu, is ready for his launch.
And rocket chair number 1 is ready as well.
This is the most dangerous part. 80 pounds of gunpowder, 22 idiots, 1 crash test dummy. Priceless. Guys, you're gonna hook up the wires. We're gonna clear the hell out. Let's everyone go that way.
The launch pad is cleared, and everyone retires to the bunker. This may have been the moment where Wan Hu, all those years ago, began to have second thoughts.
I'm staring at a Chinese-dressed crash test dummy on a throne strapped to 70 pounds of gunpowder. I just had another one of those MythBusters moments.
I'm not sure Buster sees the funny side.
Okay, I'm gonna arm it.
He's arming the system. We're gonna fire in 10 seconds.
A centuries-old mystery is about to be solved. Will it be liftoff or curtains?
2, 1.
Well, it was fast, whatever it was.
Just like Wan Hu, Buster's vanished. His dreams of being an astronaut literally up in flames.
His ass is on fire! He is burnt to a crisp.
I think there's hardly a single patch of skin left on his body that is uncharred.
Buster, AKA Chinese astrologer, was completely obliterated. I mean, the amount of heat was just unfathomable.
The heat from the rockets caused multiple failures and a wipeout instead of a blast-off.
What we've just replicated is pretty identical to the eyewitness reports. 47 packed rockets, black powder, and Buster was taken to another world in a puff of smoke. As soon as Buster cools down enough and his flesh is no longer molten, we're going to put on this new Chinese suit on him, get out throne number 2, which has 47 brand new rockets strapped to it, and we're going to see what kind of lift Buster might have gotten in the best of all possible circumstances.
47 modern rockets should give almost 2,500 pounds of thrust. Buster weighs in at just 180 pounds.
We have a fair suspicion that this chair is actually going to go somewhere. And so lest Buster just fall out in the first couple of feet, I thought we should probably anchor him a little better than we did the last time.
So be aware that this thing is going to be going crazy. Just look out and stay away.
5,
4, 3, 2, 1, go. Well, there you go.
safe to come in.
Well, he definitely got off the ground. Oh, my poor chair. Oh, man.
I'm glad we tied him in.
Sorry, but a trampoline would have gotten Buster closer to space than that.
Well, guys, I guess that's myth busted.
For one, there's no way you're going to get 47 rockets to fire at once in the Ming Dynasty, let alone how hard it was to do now.
Yeah, and even if you could, it's just going to go up in a fireball, you know?
And even if you got all of that to work perfectly, there's no way that this chair with these rockets is getting to 17,800 miles an hour and into orbit.
Yeah, myth busted.
Myth busted.
Completely.
With velocity secrets unlocked, it's time to take a deep plunge
It's gold.
into 3 stories about the physics of propulsion. First, can you blow your own sail? Or to put it another way,
If you have a windless day, if you take a giant fan and blow it into your sail, you can actually start sailing.
Exactly, but fans say it might not work.
Right, because of Newtonian physics.
it's a classic physics fable. Becalmed in the doldrums, our hero pulls out a fan, whips up a wind, and hey presto, she's propelled across the water. But do Newton's laws really mean this myth is dead in the water? What happens if you take this physics thought experiment into the real world?
So this myth is essentially about Newton's laws, and specifically his first law, which states that an object will remain in its current state of motion unless acted upon by an external force. Now, in our case, the object is the boat. Current state of motion, at rest. The external force, the wind, acts upon the boat and causes it to move along. Now, in the case of our sailor, if this person were able to generate the wind while sitting on the boat, it's no longer an external force. They're internal, in the same frame of reference. So when they blow on it, theoretically, the boat won't move.
And worryingly for the myth, it's not just Newton's first law making movement unlikely.
So there is another Newtonian principle. That is the third law of motion, which says that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So therefore, if the fan is blowing wind into the sail, it's also pushing the fan backwards. If this is true, these two forces are gonna cancel each other out, and this boat's not gonna go anywhere. It's just gonna stall. All right, now it's time to replicate the myth in small scale. We have our fan attached to our raft, which is going to be blowing into the sail that's attached to the raft.
All right.
That's great. All right, looks like Newton's laws are canceling out cartoon laws.
Yep, and here's how. If you do a test without the sail, using just the fan, you can see there's just enough thrust to propel the boat backwards. But put a sail in the way, and that backwards thrust is canceled out by the equal and opposite force pushing the boat forward. The boat stalls, and the myth is busted. Or is it?
For the next test, we've stepped up the size of the sail. Hopefully, this will propel the boat. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's not going forward at all. The forces are still canceling each other out.
Can you dial it up?
Going to 100%. Whoa, that's looking scary.
Okay, starting to go. Starting to go.
Faster. Moving forward.
With faster wind speeds, you can blow your own sail.
The fan provides a certain amount of thrust that blows into the sail. The sail, in turn, can only absorb so much of that thrust. The rest of it gets reflected back, leaving us with a net thrust vector, causing the boat to go forward.
Yep, the reflection means the sum of the total thrust is in a forward direction.
So you just need a lot more wind.
A lot more.
What is the most wind we can produce? What's the biggest fan we can use?
How about a jet engine on a skateboard? Before they attach the sail, Tori can't resist riding it.
Coming up this Christmas, Tori's jetpack skateboard. They're totally safe.
Before Tori attempts this stunt, I would like to just say for the record, I think this is a very bad idea.
What could possibly go wrong? I got a jet engine strapped to the skateboard.
Oh my God, it works! Every kid's gonna want one of these for Christmas.
Now, if we replace Tori with the sail, I think we're gonna have plenty of thrust for our experiment.
All right, this is extreme blow your own sail.
Do it.
Oh, I love this sound.
Come on, baby!
Come on.
Come on!
God, I love
Come
that.
That worked perfectly. The jet engine was powerful enough to overcome the canceling forces, and we got our sailboat to move forward.
Hey, we did it! We blew our own sail! Nice!
But now they'll need to see if it'll work on a boat. And for that, they'll need a lake and a fan-equipped swamp boat with 200 pounds of thrust. First job, flip the fan around. Second job, attach the sail. Third job, don't die.
We have no idea what can go wrong. I mean, the mast could blow off. The boat could flip over. They might get sucked into the fan and chopped up into little pieces. Hey, good sailing. Good luck.
What was that about being sucked into the fan?
Chopped into little pieces. All right, you ready to do this?
Ready.
Okay, here we go. This is blow your own sail with the full-size boat.
I gotta tell you, the funniest part about this whole experiment is when we first turned on that fan and the boat just started to spin and dip down in one direction. Grant and I both were super wide-eyed because we thought we were going over.
They're wildly out of control. There's no forward movement, just a whole lot of spinning and crashing.
So when we first started and I gunned it, we started turning in a circle. I was like, this is it. That's it. We're going in the water. But I turned it down and we tried it again. And actually what I found was, yeah, it's moving forward. You keep vectoring the fan. If you keep that thrust at the sail, you can actually get it to go forward. You have to stay on it. You can't just set it and forget it. You have to keep working it, but eventually you do get to go forward.
There she blows! Look at it, they're going forward! We blew our own sail! It's working!
Now, I don't know exactly what's going on because apparently we're flying in the face of Newton's laws, but here's what I think is happening. We have a significant amount of thrust coming out of this fan. It's hitting the sail. The sail can only push so much. The rest of that thrust gets reflected back, giving us a net thrust, pushing us in the forward direction.
There's no doubt, against all odds, this myth has propelled itself into confirmed territory. For our next story, the MythBusters are diving into a different propulsion problem.
That you can swim as fast in syrup as you can in regular old water.
Well, the syrup is thicker, so I would think that it would slow down your movement through it.
That might be true, but it also might be true that the thicker syrup gives you more to push against with your hands.
So what this boils down to then is whether those two forces cancel each other out, right?
That's what we got to get down and dirty and test.
On the surface, you'd think that swimming in syrup could only end with drowning in syrup, but maybe not. The thick resistance that slows you down might also mean you've got more to push against, increasing your propulsion. To find out, they'll dig two 75-foot-long trenches, fill one with plain water and one with syrup.
We are now about to line these in heavy plastic and fill them with water. And we're using 4 layers of heavy plastic, hopefully to keep any leaks from happening. We've tried to eliminate as many sharp objects on the bottom.
Perfect.
An Alameda County fire truck pumps the water.
It's turned out to be a heck of a pool.
Dude, this thing looks awesome.
Dig a hole, you got some plastic, you got a pool, huh?
It's time to fill our pool with syrup, and the role of syrup today will be played by guar gum. It's a powdered food thickener, and somehow we've got to make 750 pounds of it with 10,000 gallons of water, and that's where this truck comes in. Amazingly, it is uniquely custom built for mixing guar gum with water. Have you ever mixed up a guar gum mixture this thick before?
We've never mixed it this thick before. We're not even sure if it'll come.
It is just gooey, thick, viscous syrup. I mean, forget about swimming. Just getting in it is an accomplishment. This will be by far the strangest thing we have ever done.
Will we be able to swim fast in it? I don't think so. On your mark. Ready?
First, Adam's racing in the regular water. They'll average out his 3 times and compare them to swimming in syrup.
1572, 1478. A little bit quicker each time, 1462.
With Adam's 3 runs done, it's time to see how he does in stuff 1,500 times thicker.
I know what you're thinking. Of course you're going to swim slower in syrup than you are in regular water. But what if you get more purchase on your paddling hands and so on in something that's thicker?
And here's another thought. Molecular bonds in syrup like this are constantly changing. It all depends on the temperature and the speed and the shape of a body moving through the liquid.
That stuff is just too darn thick. I think the difference we'll be seeing is much greater, on the order of like 30, 40%, like 5, 6, 8 seconds difference.
Adam takes the plunge to see if propelling himself in syrup is quicker. It certainly is slimier.
Oh, holy crap, that is slippery.
He looks fast, but those resounding plops tell a different story.
1862.
That was respectably close.
That's not that much different. That's only about 3 seconds or so slower.
This stuff feels completely bizarre.
Incredibly, Adam's average freshwater times weren't that much different to swimming in syrup.
I'm really surprised how fast I was able to go. I would have thought the syrup would slow me down by like a factor of 2, not by a factor of 0.2.
The results are not conclusive, but they're promising. So it's back to the shop to find out if a different blend of syrup might give a better result. They find out that using syrup just twice as thick as water, instead of 1,500 times thicker, might make swimming easier.
Might actually be something to this myth.
Well, let's get back out there and do it full scale. I'm dying to jump into this stuff. So we have, in order to test this, scaled back our syrup swimming pool all the way down to something that's only between 2 and 5 times as viscous as water.
Adam dives in for his new baseline in normal water. And it's a good thing he did.
You're there. 13:43.
Because his average time for all 3 swims is a full second faster than the day before. Now for his slippery deck.
Ah, it's gold. Okay, here we go. Whoa!
Okay, Adam and syrup twice as thick as water.
Adam strikes out again.
There.
And sets a really fast time.
14.02 seconds.
Nice! You know what that is? That's significant data. Let's go again.
Adam's next 2 laps are both well under 15 seconds.
There. 14:62. You want to know how you did?
Lay it on me, Coach.
Okay, well, in the heavy syrup, you swam 27% slower than you did in water. But in the light syrup, you swam 2.8% slower than you did in water. That's
wow.
A big difference.
Yeah, I mean, I'll wager that the difference between any 3 of my times in either of the water or either of the syrups was greater than 2.8%.
Yeah, that's less than half a second variation.
It's well within the margin of error. That's a really cool result.
In the heavy treacle, Adam's times were 28% slower than they were in water. So that's myth busted. Then again, his times in light syrup were much the same as swimming in water. So that's myth confirmed. But as a final test, they'll mix up one last batch with a texture that's more like good old maple syrup. Not too thick, not too thin. At 500 times the thickness of water, let's call it the Goldilocks syrup.
So these are Adam's last 3 swims, and given how fast he swam in the light syrup, his times in this stuff should be really interesting.
What's my time?
14.34.
Yeah!
13.81.
Yeah! Woo!
Good job.
Thank you.
You're done. You can get out now.
I'm officially done. How are we going to wrap this one up?
The simple fact is that you swam just about as fast in the medium or Goldilocks syrup and the light syrup as you did in water.
Well, so I'd say that makes it solidly plausible. You can swim as fast in syrup as you can in water.
Plausible, depending on the viscosity of the syrup.
Next, the MythBusters are going to hit the ground running.
Yeah, that's the term when somebody is like already up to speed before they start a job.
Right. Well, what we want to know is if you literally hit the ground running, do you get going any faster? Well, I think we should start out with a control run from a standing start, let's say 30 feet, and then time it.
All right, then we'll use our harness rig so that way we're up off the ground. We'll start our run, and then when we're dropped, we'll be in mid-stride, and we'll see if our time is any shorter.
In science terms, they're going to be propelling themselves forward by converting chemical energy in their leg muscles into mechanical energy.
Let's go! Let's go! Come on! Get those shoes on! Get those shoes on!
On your marks, get set, go.
Tori runs 3 30-foot sprints, averaging just over 2 seconds.
2:11.
Go.
Grant and Carrie do their timed runs. And Grant averages the time for each runner.
Hey, hit the ground running test. Let's go over the plan.
All right, so the trapeze is set up. Eric's gonna lift us up so our feet are touching the ground. We're gonna start moving our feet. As soon as we hear go, we drop down and start the run.
Tori takes flight and starts running like a cartoon character.
Well, we might see some face plants.
Just like the control sprints, they'll all try this propulsion test 3 times. And here's the highlight.
Hanging, set,
I haven't reached maximum velocity yet.
Go. Go.
I have to say that was pretty awkward. I mean, it wasn't really like hitting the ground running so much as it was hitting the ground stumbling.
That is the most graceful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Eye of the tiger, Grant. Eye of the tiger.
Like Eye of the Kitten.
You can't help notice that hitting the ground running looks a lot clumsier and a whole lot slower than a standing start.
I'm under no illusion that was probably a slower run.
I almost didn't see her pass.
Mostly from all the awkward flailing around that left me in a strange position by the time I hit the ground to run.
Go.
But the stopwatch never lies.
On average, the three of us were faster hitting the ground running.
There's no way.
By 1/8 of a second.
Go.
Incredibly, these rough rolling starts did make for a slightly faster time. But the margin isn't large enough to make it a significant result. So what if we replace legs with wheels? Tori saddles up his trusty bike, but he'll need to make a rear-end suspension rig. For the bike, not for himself.
What I need to do next is make the release system. So that way, once the bike is up to speed, we can quickly release the back wheels. It'll hit the ground, and we'll see what happens when we hit the ground running.
They're out on the test track, where everyone is wondering if accident-prone Tori will even make it to the finish line 100 feet away.
It's just riding a bike. I mean, how dangerous could that be?
Go.
As with the running tests, they average the time from 3 standing starts.
Go.
What's my time?
6:68.
Go.
And surprisingly, Tori passes the tests unscathed.
6:34.
But let's not take 911 off speed dial just yet.
Now we're going to move on to our suspended test. Tori's going to be on the bike, suspended above the ground. He's going to pedal as fast as he can, and then we're going to release him and see if he's any faster.
My prediction for the next test? 3 words. Crash and burn.
All right, I'm ready.
But the real question, is the ER ready?
Set. Go.
Pathetic.
Keep going, keep going! 8.72. Not very good.
As soon as you hit the ground, you lose balance. So then you have to like regain your balance and at the same time, start your pedaling. So it's such a hard task that it really makes getting off the line slow. So as far as hitting the ground running goes for a bike, not a great idea.
And here at MythBusters, a bad idea is always worth repeating.
Ready, set, go!
Try as he might, Tori just can't maintain his momentum and has to restart his propulsion.
All right! Dude, hitting the ground running sucks.
10.09 seconds. Just to remind everyone, Tori's control run was just under 6.5 seconds.
Clearly, the friction between the road and the falling rear tire stopped the wheel dead and unbalanced the bike. So, far from proving an advantage, this test is going backwards.
Your average hitting the ground running was 9.27 seconds, 2.8 seconds longer than the control.
That's not good.
It's not looking so good for hit the ground running on a bike.
So what about 4 wheels? This stunt sedan with front-wheel drive and a lot more weight might be able to overcome the bike's shortcomings.
I like driving.
Driving and hopefully braking is Carrie Byron.
My strategy to keep consistency is I am just going to floor it for the start of each one of these tests.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go!
7.97.
As before, they'll average these control runs to compare against hitting the ground running.
Now that we have our data, the next step is to raise up the drive wheels, which are the front wheels, off the ground. I think this has a good chance of being faster. The car's more stable, it's got better traction, and the wheels are unlikely to stop when they hit the ground. But there could be a few problems.
We could blow out the tires.
The car could swerve out of control.
Or we could destroy the transmission.
Be interested to see what happens.
That's better.
With the engine at full revs, this 4,000-pound car is rigged with a quick release to smash into the road at top speed. Unlike the bike, the car wheels don't stop dead, but they do seem to struggle for traction.
The front end is up off the ground. The wheels are spinning as fast as they can go. I pull the release, and it bounces off the pavement, skids out, and takes off. Tires didn't pop, so I think we're good. We'll be able to do another test.
This is the craziest thing ever.
So awesome. The redneck in me screaming the whole way. I love a good burnout. Oh, and I'm sure the test went well too.
At the end of a day charged by horsepower, it all comes down to timing. Was hitting the ground running faster than a standing start?
All right, well, the results are in, and it was very close. Now, the average for the control test for the whole 300 feet, 7.88 seconds.
What was hitting the ground running?
The average of hitting the ground running, 8.04 seconds.
Yes, we busted this one!